The playoffs are finally here for the Minnesota Lynx. They've been the number one team in the WNBA all season long and seemingly just waiting for the big games to start. Well, they started yesterday with a first-round playoff game against the Golden State Valkyries, and the Lynx won big. But if you weren't watching, don't worry. Our own superfan, Emily Reese, is here to get us on the Lynx bandwagon. Thank you so much for being with us, Emily.
Hi, Nina. Thanks for having me. Yes.
Although you're here every day, as folks may know,
yes,
as our
true.
wonderful newscaster, what they may not know is that you're just about as big of a Lynx fan as they come.
I love the Lynx, absolutely. I absolutely love them, yes.
And Lynx fans are huge fans as it goes. So you're a legendary fan, legendary newscaster. What was going on? How did the Lynx do yesterday?
They won big. They beat the San Francisco Valkyries 101-72. It was a very slow start for the Lynx and a fast start for the Valkyries, but then the tables turned and the Lynx came back. So they're in this playoff series where they have to win 2 out of 3 to advance to the next. So they've won 1. So right now, if they win the next game, they're on to the next round of the playoffs. That's where they're standing right now.
Okay, so that's where the team stands. I know it's hard to believe, Emily, but not all of us have been following the Lynx as closely as you have. There might be some holdouts out there. What do you say to them? Why jump on the Lynx bandwagon? They do pretty well as a team.
They're so good. It is a team of stars, and it's a team of humans who do extraordinary things. So for me, it's almost less about the basketball and more about the people, because they're all such wonderful people and they're good at literally everything they do. They're amazing basketball players on every single side of the ball. And you just watch them do these wonderful things night after night. And, if that doesn't interest you, the whole watching people do amazing things and be good humans while they're doing it, there's a juicy revenge story. Everybody loves a juicy revenge story.
What makes the playoffs so special this time around?
Players and fans are absolutely out for revenge this year. In fact, the Lynx are on something they call a revenge tour, and the players and fans are absolutely super motivated by it.
That sounds really intense, Emily.
Yeah, seriously, I can't even dial down my emotion about it. Really.
Yeah. So what happened last year that is making everyone seek out this revenge?
There was this play at the very end of the final game, so the series was tied. It meant that whoever won that game wins the title. Very final seconds of the game, the Lynx were in the lead by 2. New York has the ball. The player who had the ball, Breanna Stewart, did something that's called a travel in the basketball, where you hold the ball and take too many steps. And then the refs called a foul on one of the Lynx players. That was not a foul. So what that meant is that the New York then had an opportunity to tie the game. And they did in the very final seconds. Sent it into overtime, and then they won. And it was just super heartbreaking. So, officiating was questionable, definitely in that moment. But throughout the whole series, both coaches, Cheryl Reeve for the Lynx, Sandy Brondello for New York, they both complained heavily in post-game interviews throughout the whole series about the officiating throughout the series.
So, Emily, it sounds like people have some problems generally with officiating within the WNBA. Do you think that's fair to say?
I think that's fair to say. It's been an issue for years. And yesterday, when the Lynx beat the Valkyries, Valkyries head coach Natalie Nakase was very upset at the end of the game. She thought that the momentum changed because the refs started calling fouls on her team, which slowed everything down for her team. And she felt like the refs, she all but says, kind of helped the Lynx.
We're playing the best team in the league. They don't need no help. This team is great. They're stacked. They play well. They play beautiful basketball. They're coached well. They don't need their help.
So, Emily, what do you think contributes to sort of this pattern of coaches and players being so disappointed with officiating? Are they just whining, or is something really going on there?
A lot of people tend to point to the pay discrepancy between refs that work the WNBA, the NCAA at the college level,
Sure.
and then the men's team, the NBA. The WNBA makes much, much less than even the NCAA coach or refs do by thousands of dollars per game, depending on your experience, of course, and other things. But it is a pretty massive pay discrepancy, and I think we all like to think that the people who are compensated the best have the most skill. And, if that's how things are, then there's an issue in the WNBA. They really could stand to look at that a little better, try and get some better refs in, I think.
And so it's kind of surfacing again, these issues in this playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an issue. It's been an issue in this playoffs, and it was a very big issue in last year's playoffs. And this is why we're back to this revenge tour, where that one call at the very end of that game was absolutely awful. And, it makes it seem like one call can decide a game. And you can hear Cheryl Reeves' disappointment last year after the final game when New York won it all because of what seemed like one call.
I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because this was stolen from us.
She was mad.
Whoa, yeah. So was there more controversy?
Well, yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why so many people are still stirred up. It wasn't just one thing that seemed so egregious at the end. They said something like, the trophy is where it belongs. And then, meaning New York. So then that got deleted. And I'm just like, how dare you? How dare you tweet that? And then even worse, the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, was wearing a dress that had the New York City skyline on it. So,
wow.
She's not sporting any Minnesota swag.
Where's
or
the
colors
spoon
or,
and cherry dress?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to see it.
Just the nerve, for real, the nerve. These things left such a bad taste in the mouths of fans like me, and it was such a bad look. And what made it even worse, I think, is there was never any acknowledgement of any of those things. The bad call, everybody still talks about it, but nothing was done about it. Kathy Engelbert never said, I'm sorry for wearing a New York skyline dress, and the WNBA never said, oops, we shouldn't have tweeted that tweet.
Right.
And that stuff just feels awful. So.
But it's kind of this fuel, right? Like when you're talking about this revenge tour, it's kind of almost fun in a way, I bet, for the fans and the players to have something to kind of unite around and have all this energy around.
Yeah. An argument could be made that we could also just have energy around winning a 6th title instead of a 5th title. But am I out for
forward?
Yeah. I think it definitely fuels elite athletes. They're trained to do these things. They have all kinds of their psychology training and whatnot to be able to handle these kinds of things. And that's impressive in and of itself to watch how they've come back this year and channeled it into this amazing season full of records. But, of course we're out for revenge. But I really want there to be no controversy. That's what I want. I just want a team to win and everybody be like, wow, the best team won.
So sometimes a revenge story, like if the team feels like they really were robbed, like in this case, can be really fun because it kind of turns into a comeback story and like justice for the team.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there are examples of just, teams, players switching teams and then beating their old team and things like that. So there are tons of examples. There are some great local examples. For instance, when Brett Favre played quarterback for the Vikings, he beat the Packers twice. That was a hard year for me. I'm not a big Brett Favre fan or Packers. But another one is when Kirk Cousins came back as a Falcon last year in last year's NFL season.
Yeah.
Darnold and the Vikings just crushed the Falcons. That was kind of fun and recent. And even better, maybe, in the WNBA, the Lynx beat the Vegas Aces by like 50 points in early August. But
I remember.
But then the Aces just beat the Lynx recently, last week, and they've been on quite the win streak ever since that bad loss. So the Aces got a little revenge on the Lynx.
Yeah. What are the chances that the Lynx here and their arch enemy, the Liberty, meeting again in the finals. Do you think that they're going to go all the way again this year and sort of have a repeat?
Well, they can't because the Liberty weren't a high enough seed for it. So that means that in the tournament that they're on the wrong side of the bracket. So what'll happen is if they meet, it'll be right away in this very next round. So right now, the Lynx are playing San Francisco, and the Liberty, New York, they're playing Phoenix. And the Liberty just beat Phoenix in game 1 yesterday. So the Liberty also on track to maybe advance to the next round, which is when we would play them if we advance to the next round. I hope that made sense.
I'm like,
it just
hold
means
on.
it just
Play
means
it back.
Yeah, what it means is that they can't meet in the finals. It's impossible the way the bracket is. It's impossible. So if they meet, it'll be after we beat San Francisco.
All right. So for now, the revenge tour sort of rolls on a Wednesday night, right?
It does. It does, yeah, for the Lynx to try and advance to that next round and go all the way. They will be in San Francisco Wednesday night playing the Valkyries again. So game 2 of the 3-game series. And, you know, if the Lynx do it, they'll go on to the next round and then hopefully take it all this year. They deserve it. They really do.